Thanks for checking out this overview of the crypto program. I think you guys are really going to like it. And I've had a lot of questions on how this works, what it's about. And I think Ed says it the best and is really the brains behind all of this. So I don't want to take up too much time and I want to get right to it so you guys can learn how we're creating this 25% income each month. So I'm going to leave it to Ed. I'm going to share my screen here, you guys. And Ed is going to share a little bit about himself, how he got started with the business and what he did in the Google ad space 10, 15 years ago and why he's back today. So without too much time here, let's share my screen and here's Ed.
More in depth of my story. For those of you that know a little bit about my story, bear with us a little bit. But first of all, BOJ, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Nice to meet you face to face, also here via Zoom. And at some point in time in the future, I want to shake your hand and get to meet you somewhere around the world.
We'll make that happen.
I love to do lots of events and meet people face to face. I don't shy away from anything. I've been through a lot of crap in my life. Maybe you have too. I don't know.
Yeah. I've been through some things. I'm a little younger, but new levels, new devils, right?
That's right. And baptism by fire sometimes.
That's right.
And one thing I learned from a book that's called When Going Through Hell, Don't Stop. And a lot of us have been through a lot of hell. In fact, there's been times when it seemed doom and gloom. Oh my gosh, how am I going to make it through this? Whether it's a relationship, financial, whatever. But everything always turns out all right. You just have so much fear, anxiety, and it all works out. Well, I've been through some trials and tribulations in my life, started my career back in the early 90s, in my early 20s. And fast forward, started online in mid 1990s, chat boards, bulletin boards, that kind of thing. AOL dial-up back in the day.
I remember those noises.
Oh, yeah. Right?
Right.
Boy, it's been a journey. But one thing's always remained in deep down in my heart. You see, I wasn't given a silver spoon in my mouth. I had to work and hustle growing up. My dad wasn't really that present in my life, and my mom had to work 3 jobs just to take care of my brother and I. So I had to hustle right through elementary school, high school, selling concert T-shirts, selling tickets, camping out back in the early days of here in Atlanta when I went to school. Skipping school, camping out to get front row tickets to rock concerts. Me and my buddy, we'd sell 8 of them, make enough money to go buy concert T-shirts, and then sell them, undercut the people who were selling them, inside the arena.
Yeah.
And then we'd have money to, don't tell my mom, have a little bit of alcohol as a teenager.
I won't tell nobody.
But also, have a good time.
Yeah,
and then we just rinse and repeat and built up a nice little business through high school. And I was able to buy some cars and stuff. But you know what? Stuff happens in life.
Yeah.
And had some bumps and bruises, but one thing's remained true. Somebody gave me a chance. They told me, give your chance a chance. So I took that to heart and I started getting involved with personal development, learning more about business. Because I went to college, 1 semester, 1 class, and immediately learned it wasn't for me. Nope. So I have a PhD in the School of Hard Knocks. Been through some fire. But people cared about me. They showed their heart to me. And I am doing the same to help others. I'm passing that on. So through my journey, I've had some ups and downs, and so have some of the people that have followed me. Recently, to fast forward, took a few big hits financially with a lot of the people that follow me and my audience. From trading to some high risk, high reward crypto stuff.
Yep.
And I look through my portfolio because I do a lot of different things. I believe in diversification and shifting your finances around so that you can easily be able to absorb different hits. And I'm a big believer of don't ever put more money into something than you can afford to lose.
Yes, sir.
And
Say-
diversify.
Yeah.
You say it all the time. Take your profits
Right.
and pull them out so that you are paying yourself back and get to the point where you have house money, and then take that profit on top of that profit of house money and diversify and put it in something else. Because if the rug gets pulled somewhere, it doesn't sting as much because it was house money profits.
That's right.
But unfortunately, along the journey, people get greedy and we're dealing with emotions. And a lot of times people will just put in more than they can afford to lose. And then they get upset. I've had a lot of people upset, but I've had a lot of people happy because they did it the right way. So to fast forward, to take a few steps back on my story, I got involved in the Google AdWords space back in the early 2000s when it was the wild, wild west.
Mhm.
When clicks for search traffic were pennies on the dollar. And I got started in the personal development and network marketing niche, built an email list of about 2 million email addresses during that
Wow.
period of time.
Yeah.
Fast forward 2008, I went to an event that changed my life. I had some people that are like-minded, learning AdWords as I was, and started masterminding with them. I believe in the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
One of the major principles of masterminding,
Yes.
getting around people that are much smarter than you. And when I applied that through my mentors who spoke into my life, and I applied that by getting around people, I said, there's got to be more to this because I'm already doing pretty well. But ultimately, I know that I can do better. You know, that whole adage, you know, increase yourself, you know, just 1% a day. And in 30 days, you're 30% better.
Yeah.
So I applied those techniques and got around people that are much smarter than me. And ultimately, we collaborated, shared information. And I started switched the niche to the real estate niche.
Mhm.
It was around 2008 when the credit crunch was happening and banks weren't loaning money anymore and people were losing jobs and going through foreclosure. And whenever there's doom and gloom, there's always opportunity. And I didn't capitalize on opportunities in the past when I was much younger. So here was an opportunity for me to capitalize. So I started having the foresight about rent to own homes, lease purchase homes. These are search terms that people would go to Google and search on.
Yeah.
And the clicks were very inexpensive. There wasn't much competition at that time. So I started ad campaigns with my own money and my own credit, and I would test. I started out with $25 a day, with Google hitting my credit card with a budget of $25 a day.
Yeah.
So I risked $750 a month. And I did that for 90 days to test campaigns, advertising, the copy, you know, the words that are in the ads to get people to click to go to an offer. Now that offer was in the financial space. It was by Experian, which is the US based credit bureau that's the largest.
Yeah.
And they had the two digital assets at the time, freecreditreport.com and freecreditscore.com.
Yeah.
And you can go to those sites now and you pull out your credit card and you can start a 7-day free trial.
Yeah.
I was an affiliate for them and I was able to crack the code, get clicks for people who were searching for rent to own homes, rent to own home list, how to buy a home from an investor with bad credit.
Yeah.
All those different search terms. And my ads came up and said free list of rent to own homes.
Mm.
They click on it and I would capture their name and email address. Sometimes I'd test with a long form being name, email, mailing address, and telephone number.
Okay.
The longer the form, the more information that you request from somebody, the less the conversions are, but the better quality lead is the old adage.
That makes sense.
So I signed up with Experian and I started offering their free credit report, freecreditscore.com. where I sent the traffic after I delivered the list of homes. I said, now that you have the list of rent to own homes, if you ever want to purchase that home from an investor directly and not have to deal with any banks, you need to have a copy of your credit report and scores.
Right.
So I started taking them through a funnel. It wasn't just have them click and they buy a product. I was warming up my leads so that I can build a relationship with them, add value, and ultimately offer them something.
Right.
So I offered them a free credit report and score, no obligation by Experian. They literally allowed people to pull out their credit card and start a 7-day free trial.
I've done it myself.
You've done it, yeah. And you probably still have credit monitoring going, just as I do for now decades.
Yep.
So how can Experian pay for that lead? Well, they were paying me $35 for every time somebody pulled out a credit card and signed up for a 7-day free trial.
Wow.
I got to end the week with all the conversions on a Friday, and they would pay me on the next Tuesday. So that means I could take the amount of conversions and just put it on my credit card again.
Yeah.
And free up the space to do advertising. Well, this was a vicious cycle for me and taking up a lot of time. And every time I put $1 in, I was getting $4 back, because then I started thinking and masterminding with people about my business model, my affiliate business model.
Yeah.
And we came up with, well, if they got a copy of their credit report and it has their score, and I'm not regulated to, like a loan officer or a mortgage company, to ask
Right.
for a copy of it, it's theirs. But what I can do is I can say, if I can send them an email and say, if your credit score is above 620, click here. If it's below 620, click here. So for the most people in the United States at that time, 2008-ish, 2009, more than 50% of Social Security numbers that people had subprime credit, less than 620. They had blemishes on their credit.
Yeah.
They had bad credit, in other words. They couldn't qualify for a loan. So I would send that traffic over to the nation's largest credit repair company called Lexington Law out of Salt Lake City, Utah.
For Lexington Law. Yeah.
Every person they got on the phone with to do a consultation, who ended up converting into a sale where they helped them with their, take stuff off their credit report, increase their score. They paid me $110 per conversion.
Yeah.
I was giving Experian 110,000 clients.
All right, you guys, I just wanted to pause it right there real quick to show you guys and kind of explain what's happening. And I think Ed did the best job at that right there. So what we're doing and what you are doing is you're loaning your money to an agency that's creating ads, it's creating offers and earning income through affiliate marketing. What you are getting in return is 25% of the return when they're making, say, anywhere from 100 to 300% using your money over and over and over again. And that's what Ed's going to talk about here in this next section. So get out your pen and paper and just write down how many customers he had for the credit bureau and how many customers he had for the Lexington Law. How many customers he had for the Lexington Law offer, and add and times that by 100. That's how many customers he had. Take the customers times 100, and that's how much he earned just off of that one funnel by having a Google ad and the search engine. So I just want to stop it there, you guys, and really recap. That is the whole process. Very simple. Ads, advertising, Google search engines. It's never going to go away, and it's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is why our friend Ed has brought it here to the masses, is to let us and show us how this is possible for us. So in the next couple minutes, I'm going to share here with you guys Ed and how he takes these offers and turns them into capital, and the rest is history. So take it away.
Every person they got on the phone with to do a consultation, who ended up converting into a sale where they helped them with their, take stuff off their credit report, increase their score. They paid me $110 per conversion.
Yeah.
I was giving Experian 110,000 clients a year. Here's how. And Lexington Law, 25,000 clients a year. And I ramped it up through a loan program, a private loan program. In other words, I can go to you and I could say, hey man, I got this great business model. I'm not going to give you all the details on it because I certainly don't want to compete with you. You get wind of it and you want to jump in, but
Right.
have you ever been to Google? And you would say, well, sure. Have you ever searched? Sure. You ever see the ads that come up? You know, at the time back then it was across the top and along the side. They've formatted their page a little bit different now. And you say, yeah. You ever click on any of those ads? Well, yeah. So, well, then that's my business model. I put up ads, people click on it, and then I get paid if those people go out to whatever offer that I send them to as an affiliate, and I get paid. But I'm not going to tell you which niche I'm in because I don't want the competition.
Yeah.
I said this to my first friend, and he said, well, fair enough. I totally understand. So what do you need from me? I said, money. And I'm willing to pay you 50% on your money if you let me use 10 grand all month long for the whole month. Here we are ending January 31st.
Yeah.
And in 2 weeks after the month ends and I reconcile, I'm going to pay you 50%, which is 5 grand on your $10,000. He was like, only reason I'm going to give you money is because I trust you. We've been around, we've credibility, right? So I
right.
trust you. So his risk was the first 30 days because after I paid him on the 15th, 5 grand, his risk decreased by 50%. Simple math, right? Because he got 50% of it back.
That's right.
But what do you think he said when I paid him 5 grand? Because he probably was skeptical, but here we are. I paid him 5 grand. He's like, do you need any more money?
Yeah. Can we scale this up a little bit?
Exactly.
Yep.
I said, now that you mention it, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because then on my side of the fence, I took his 10 grand. I paid Google for the ads, the traffic, the clicks all week long. It ended on Friday. And then I got paid on Tuesday. And then I used his money all week long and then got paid the next Tuesday at the end of the Friday. I got to use it 4 to 5 times.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to pay him back until the 15th of the following month.
Wow.
So that birthed the loan program.
Yes.
And through the loan program, I shared that with my other network of buddies.
Yeah.
And they started a loan program. They said, oh my gosh, it's a great way to scale.
Yeah.
Without having to get a loan from a bank, increase your credit card limits, and you can share in the profits and help other people who have funds sitting in the bank, rotting away, earning 1% if they're lucky on an annual basis.
Yeah.
It would take somebody 50 years to earn 50% at 1% a year, and they just earned it in 45 days.
That's right.
So fast forward, I generated 10 million leads in the real estate niche between 2008 and 2012.
Wow.
And I took my company public to the stock exchange.
Yeah.
Then I transitioned out in 2015 and retired from that. Got out of the Google AdWords business in 2012. The business model changed as a publicly traded company. And then I traveled the world for 2 years. 24 months, I took 30 vacations. And then I had a massive health setback.
Yeah.
I had 9 arteries that were 90% blocked. And I was a walking dead man. I had to have bypass surgery. During that time, all these years, I've been involved with direct sales, network marketing, real estate, e-commerce, such as web hosting, web design, assets. I've been involved with trading, Forex, to different commodity trading, precious metal trading, all because I'm very diversified. Well, in 2012, my buddies, they were still in Google AdWords. In fact, they had expanded into many different niches. Now, this is 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And I got out of Google AdWords. And after taking my company public, I took some of my money and put it with them in their loan program because I wanted another passive residual income stream.
Right. Right.
So they continued on, built up a huge, huge ad agency, and it now stretches all around the world.
Wow.
I've been being paid for 10 years. Their loan program has been going on for 15. So now I'm going to connect the dots to bring us home to today. After the last 18 months to 24 months, taking a few big hits with some of those high risk, high reward programs, like I was involved with COTP,
Yep.
Metafy Yielders, Often, Grin Miners.
Yeah.
There's others out there that I weren't involved with, but I
Yeah.
took some big hits.
Yeah.
And so did my clients. Getting back to the early story, some of those clients put in more money they can afford to lose. I didn't, fortunately. That's my rule of putting money into stuff.
Risk management.
Risk management, right? Willing to take a risk, but there is a few things that one of my close mentors, Mr. Les Brown, says, and that is the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward.
That's right.
But if you're not prepared to risk, you don't deserve to win.
That's right.
And sometimes you got to jump and grow your wings on the way down.
That's right.
So with all that being said, I went to my portfolio and looked at the different streams of income that I have. And I said, here's one, but it's offline. It's not online. Been paying me for 10 years. Program's been around for 15, but it's only for higher net worth individuals. You need to have at least 250K or more to get in. And it's private. It's closed. It's private. You have to be personally invited and somebody's got to vouch for you.
Yeah.
Well, sure. I got an audience and I've made some good friends and contacts, but most I've never broken bread with or hung out with.
Right.
So I'm kind of like, I don't want to bring this I can't bring it to the masses because they can't afford to get started. So I went to these guys and I said, look, I have clients in my audience that have taken quite a few hits over the last 18 to 24 months. Your program's rock solid. It pays out on time every single month, but they can't afford to get started at 250. And they said, Ed, we got too good a thing going here. We don't want to open it up to the masses. It's a private little, good old boys and girls network, if you will.
Right.
And we're happy staying private. Yes, they're public as far as a private public company, right? Not a public company on the stock exchange, but it's a real entity. And they have to be in order to pay Google and all these other places around the world.
Right.
So I said, what if you create a program for people that can get started with as little as 550 USDT, and we make it crypto, because I know you don't want to open yourself up for regulatory agencies, regulators, and because this is private loans. It's going back to, if I said to you, hey, lend me 10 grand, we don't need to sign any paperwork or docs. You can lend it to me and I could do whatever I want with it, as long as I agree to pay you whatever we agreed upon.
That's right.
So that should overcome the objection that people have. Well, if it's a loan program, regulated and you got to sign docs on it. No, you don't have to. It's private.
Yeah.
So then we started talking about how to make this work. What percentage? There's going to obviously need to be customer support. So I volunteered to head up the project before it was even created and before it was even launched. My reward is I'm the master affiliate.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of a brainchild to work with them, but they paid for the site. They pay for the ongoing development. They pay for the customer service, and they pay for the hosting and the mail servers and the bulk senders and the domain. And it's all anonymous because they don't want people contacting them directly. And so where they would probably end up losing focus, losing their hair like I have, and ultimately shutting the program down, the online version of the program down.
Yeah, understandable.
So people say, well, is this what's the risk? Well, there's two risks. The first risk is because the program pays out 25% USDT, it's crypto in to buy packages, crypto out to get paid, has nothing to do with fiat. So we can't say it's dollars. It's
Right.
not investing because it's a loan package. You're purchasing a loan package and getting paid on that loan package you purchased. 25% USDT. It's not dollars and it's not money. It's cryptocurrency.
That's right.
So therefore, it's
All
not.
right, guys, so that's a wrap. That's Ed. He is the one who has the brains behind this operation and this program, working with these developers who've been doing this for very many years with the same kind of loan program that he's been working with and being paid out by every single month for 10 years. So what he wanted to do was bring it to the masses for people like me, you, and friends that really want to